Oh my God, there is no one but thee to allay the anguish of my soul. Ooh. Thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God, oh my God, My heart is wedded to none save thee, and such as thou dost love. I solemnly declare my life and are born for thee. Ooh, they are for you. My heart is wedded to none save thee, and such as thou dost love. I solemnly declare my life and death are born for thee. Ooh, they are for you. They are for you. Oh my God, there is no one but thee to allay the anguish of my soul. Thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God, oh my God,
O my God, verily thy servant humble before thy majesty of thy divine supremacy. Lowly at the door of thy oneness, hath believed in thee and in thy verses, hath testified to thy word, hath been enkindled with the fire of thy love, hath been immersed in the depths of the ocean of thy knowledge, hath been attracted by the breezes, hath replied upon his supplications to thee, and hath been assured of thy pardon and forgiveness. He hath abandoned his mortal life, and hath flown to the kingdom of immortality, yearning for the favor of the meeting thee. Lord, glorify his station, shelter him under the pavilion of thy supreme mercy. Cause him to enter thy glorious paradise, and to perpetuate his existence in thine exalted rose garden, that he may plunge into the sea of light in the world of mysteries. Verily, thou art the generous, the powerful, the forgiver, and the bestower. Abdu'l-Baha.
An illumined soul continues to have an influence on progress in this world and the advancement of its people. It acts as the leaven that leaven the world of being. It furnishes the power through which the arts and wonders of the world are made manifest.
To consider that after the death of the body, the spirit perishes is like imagining that a bird in a cage will be destroyed if the cage is broken. Though the bird has nothing to fear from the destruction of the cage, our body is like the cage, and the spirit is like the bird. If the cage becomes broken, the bird will continue to exist. Its feelings will be even more powerful, its perceptions greater, its happiness increased. Brenda, the camera's up front.
This is a personal recollection of Bruce M. Beach by our brother, Timothy Beach. And he says, multiple children of the same parent will surprisingly each describe their unique child-parent relationship differently. And as I mess up Timothy, please forgive me. In my case, my father, Bruce Mansfield Beach, made his greatest contribution to my life during my adulthood rather than during my childhood. Just prior to my graduation from university, I was able to reestablish a relationship with him, which has been essentially put on hold not long after our parents divorced when I was 6. We soon discovered that we had several mutual interests, not the least of which were the sometimes socially taboo topics of religion and politics, having himself graduated with a triple major in religion, philosophy, and Bible. And then subsequently, having earned a master's degree in economics, he did indeed have a breadth of knowledge to share. Our discussions typically ended up in debates, which helped me sharpen my own intellectual skills. During my 3 years of Anglican seminary at the University of Toronto, I was simultaneously getting a much broader education through intense discussions with someone who did not always hold the same presuppositions as my own. This certainly proved valuable as my own life took me into multiple cross-cultural settings and career paths. Although Bruce never managed to convert me to Baha'i faith, nor was I able to convert him to Christianity, he did have a big influence on my thinking. First, as both Baha'is and Christians are monotheists. It eventually seemed reasonable and good to me that those who profess a faith in the one and only God should, as Jesus commanded, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, all of your soul, and all of your mind, and all of your strength, and also to love your neighbors as yourself. These dominical commands certainly leave little wiggle room for prioritizing one's love for anything else, including one's country, race, or social class. Because my parents had divorced when I was still very young, I was not an eyewitness to Bruce's involvement in the equal rights movement, nor his teaching work at historically black colleges. He recounted these experiences to me after I had reached adulthood. Then with great pride, I recounted his work to others. However, I did have a closer connection to his concerns about nuclear war. I recall when at about 5 years of age, my mom gathered my sister, my brother, and me around a radio to listen to my father's commercial for his bomb shelter company. Many years later, I had also been through his ARC-2 community-sized shelter a couple of times, although I was not living nearby during its construction. Bruce was well aware that a lot of people regarded ARC-2 as a crackpot idea. Although Bruce has left this life without the ever-imminent nuclear threat of nuclear war actually happening, the fact that remains its evil threat still remains for as long as nuclear weapons remain with us, poised and armed, just waiting for doomsday's buttons to be pushed. Bruce regarded this nuclear Armageddon to be inevitable and just a matter of time, and perhaps the logical consequences of a self-centered nation-state system of competing governments whose rising technology skills, technological skills, continually expand and reinforce a policy of mutual assured destruction. If by some miracle and God's grace, humankind found a way to eliminate the threat of nuclear annihilation, thank you, sorry. I suspect that Bruce would not be terribly disappointed that his prediction did not come to pass. So when will it be? Which will it be? The construction of millions of bomb shelters or eliminating the threat of nuclear holocaust? In a sense, Bruce Lice has challenged us to choose one or the other. The only crackpot choice I see here is humanity to choosing the status quo. May Bruce's memory be eternal. Be Timothy Beach.
A tribute from Paul Kell, a great long-term family of Grandpa Bruce. To those of us who had the privilege of knowing Bruce, we knew him as a man not easy to describe. He was eccentric, a futuristic, an iconologist, a visionary, an inventor, a father, a husband, a grandfather, and a devoted Baha'i. And it goes without mention, he was the man infamous for having built the Ark II, the world's largest privately owned bomb shelter. Bruce's exceptional life spanned many decades, and his accomplishments are voluminous. The mark that Bruce left on the world is undeniable, and as the impression he left on all of us who knew him. Many of us were able to visit Bruce and Jean at their home in Hornings Mills. Knowing Bruce meant when he said, "I have a little project I could use your help with." Of course he did.
Just a little project.
Many of us did help and returned to help over and over again for many, many years. The beach residence was a home away from home, and it was Bruce and Jean who generously made it that to anyone willing to show up. We were given in exchange for our sweat equity was not only a place that felt like home, it was Bruce's energy, his ideas, his optimism that inspired us and gave us hope for a better world in the future. Bruce devoted his life to his vision of reconstruction, a new dawn of civilization, and he took immense pride. He came up with that described that he felt defined him best, the Dawn Sayer.
One of Bruce's dedications to share with the world was the Universal Language Institute. We have formally obtained that people should converse in two languages, yet efforts must be made in the same name to reduce them to one. Likewise, the scripts of the world, that men's lives may not be dissipated and wasted in learning diverse languages. Thus, the whole earth would come to regard as one city, one land. Word of Paradise, 8 Leaf.
Baha'u'llah has proclaimed the adoption of a universal language. A language shall be agreed upon by which unity will be established in the world. Each person will require training in 2 languages, his native tongue and the universal auxiliary form of speech. This will facilitate intercommunication and dispel the misunderstandings which the barriers of language have occasioned in the world. All people worship the same God and are alike his servants. When they are able to communicate freely, they will associate in friendship and concord, entertain the greatest love and fellowship for each other, and in reality, the Orient and Occident will embrace in unity and agreement. Abdul Baha, the promulgation of universal peace.
will now observe a minute of silence for all family and friends to share a prayer, good deed, or a moment with Bruce. O my God, this is thy servant and the son of thy servant, who hath believed in thee and in thy signs, and set his face towards thee, wholly detached from all else except thee. Thou art verily of those who show mercy, the most merciful. Deal with him, O thou, who forgivest the sins of men, and concealest their faults, as beseemeth the heaven of thy bounty, and the ocean of thy grace. Grant him admission within the precincts of thy transcendent mercy, that was before the foundation of earth and heaven. There is no God but thee, the ever-forgiving, the most generous. Alawapa, 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 Alawapa. We all verily worship God. 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 Alawapa. We all verily bow down before God. 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 Alawapa. We all verily are devoted unto God. 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 Alawapa. We all verily give praise unto God. 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 Alawapa. We all verily yield thanks unto God. 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 Alawapa. We all verily are patient in God. We all verily are patient unto God. We all verily are patient in 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 God. Allahu Akbar.